Welcome to Speak English Podcast with Rory and Alex.
Okay, so I have to start this deep dive with a confession.
Oh, this sounds good.
And I don't mean like a small, oops, I forgot to buy milk kind of thing. I mean a real professional, I hope nobody figures out I'm a fraud moment.
Okay, I'm listening. What happened?
So last week, I'm writing this huge high-stakes email, big prospective client, contract on the line. I've spent like an hour on it, making it perfect.
Hey.
And I get to the end and I want to say something like, I hope this proposal positively blank your decision. And I just froze.
The blinking cursor, I know it well.
It was mocking me. My finger is hovering over the send button, and I have this sudden cold realization that I have absolutely no idea if it's effects with an A or effects with an E.
Yeah, the classic trap.
I'm a professional communicator. I talk for a living. How do I not know this?
So what did you do? Did you just rewrite the whole sentence to get around it?
100%. I think I changed it to, I hope this proposal is helpful, which is just so much weaker, but I was so scared of getting it wrong.
Well, you are in very, very good company. We pulled a huge stack of sources for this one BBC, all ears English, Khan Academy, you name it.
Yeah.
And the one thing they all agree on is that this is the absolute nemesis of pretty much everyone who writes emails. It's not just an English learner issue.
Huh.
Native speakers, professional writers, they all get stuck on this.
Okay. That makes me feel a little less alone, but it doesn't solve the problem. I feel like I learned this in school at some point, but it just never, ever stuck. It's a coin toss every single time.
Right.
So today's mission is purely selfish. I want to fix this in my brain permanently. And hopefully, for everyone listening, we can save them that panicked Google search 5 minutes before a deadline.
We can absolutely do that. The sources, they really break this down into a surprisingly clear system. English grammar is usually a total mess, you know.
Tell me about it.
But for this specific pair of words, there's a logic that works about, I'd say 90% of the time.
90%. I will take 90%. That's a solid win.
It is. But. You knew there was a but coming?
Oh, there's always a but.
There is that other 10%. The sources call them the obnoxious exceptions. This is where the rules completely flip on their head. It's what I'd call the expert level.
Of course. It wouldn't be English without some kind of hidden trapdoor.
Exactly. But we're going to build the foundation first. We'll lock in that 90% rule so tight it just becomes automatic. Then we'll look at the weird stuff.
Okay, foundation first. Let's do it. What's the core idea? How do we stop flipping that coin?
The best tool we found, and this came up again and again, is a mnemonic, an acronym. It's RAVEN.
Raven.
Like
the bird.
R-A-V-E-N. The very same. It's like a little map for your brain. It stands for. Remember, affect is a verb, affect is a noun.
Okay, raven. Affect is verb, affect is noun. It sounds simple, but, you know, in the heat of the moment, my brain just glazes over verb and noun. I know what they are technically, but I don't always spot them.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Nobody diagrams sentences in their head while they're typing an email.
Right.
So let's just focus on the A in Raven. Affect. The verb. A verb is the engine of the sentence. It's the word that's doing something. It's the action.
The action. Okay.
One of our sources, Sparkle English, had a great way to remember this. The A in effect is for action.
A for action. I can work with that.
But they also gave us this image of Cupid's arrow. A for arrow.
Cupid's arrow. Okay.
Yeah, just picture it. Cupid shoots an arrow. The arrow travels. It hits someone, and it changes how they feel. The arrow affected them.
Oh, I like that. An arrow is moving. It's dynamic. It's having an impact on something.
Exactly. That's the key. Influence, impact, change. If you're talking about the act of one thing changing another, you need effect.
So let's take some of the examples we found. Pollution affects the environment.
Yep. Pollution is the actor. It's doing the damaging. It's performing the action of changing the environment.
Or the drought affected the crops.
All right. The drought isn't just sitting there. It's actively drying things out. It's the agent of change.
Okay, what about something less, physical, like don't let her attitude affect you?
That's a great one. You're telling someone, don't let that outside thing, her attitude, perform an action on your internal feelings.
Yeah.
The attitude is the arrow.
Got it. So if I can feel one thing pushing on another, I'm reaching for the A.
That's the logic. So now let's flip it. The E in Raven, effect. The noun.
The thing.
The thing. Exactly. If effect is the action, effect is the aftermath. One source said to think of the E in effect as standing for end result.
E for end result. Okay, I like that too.
Let's go back to Cupid. The arrow affecting the woman. That was the action. But what was the outcome? She fell in love. That state of being in love, that is the effect.
So the effect is what's left behind after the action is done.
Perfectly put. It's the consequence. You can use it to point to it, like the side effects of medication or the special effects in a movie.
Special effects is actually a really good anchor for me. You see that on movie posters all the time. I have never once seen special effects with an A.
And what are special effects? They're things. They are the explosions, the aliens, the results you see on screen. They aren't the action itself. They're the product of the action.
Okay, so Raven is my North Star. A for action, E for end result. But I saw a note in here from Crown Academy about a specific sentence structure that's kind of a dead giveaway. Something about the word have.
Oh, this is the cheat code. This is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
If you are totally lost, look at the words right before the blank. If you see have, has, or had, like in to have an effect on something, you are almost certainly looking for the noun.
Why? What's the grammar logic there?
Because you don't really have an action in that same way. You have an object, you have a car, you have an idea, you have a sandwich. You can't have a run in the same way, so you have to have an effect.
That is incredibly helpful. So if I'm typing that email and I write, this will have a major, my brain should just scream N-O-U.
Exactly. It creates a slot that only a noun can fill. It has to be effect with an E.
So let's talk about why this is so hard in the first place. I mean, is it just because they sound so similar?
That's a huge part of it. Especially in American English, we get very, very lazy with our vowels. We mash everything into what linguists call a schwa, that neutral sound.
Right, effect. The movie really affected me. The special effects were cool.
Precisely. We say them almost identically.
Yeah.
If we all spoke like, 19th century actors, we'd say affect with the A from action and effect with the E from end.
Affect.
But nobody talks like that.
Mm-hmm.
So our ears don't hear the difference, and then our brains stop making the distinction. We have to rely purely on the grammar.
And if the grammar is shaky, we're lost. Okay, so I need some break glass in case of emergency tools. Raven's good, but I need a quick test. I saw something called the substitution trick.
Yes. This is my favorite one. This comes from Grammar Monster. The idea is to swap out the confusing word with a word that is, without a doubt, a verb.
Okay.
The sources suggest transform, but my personal favorite, just because it's so ridiculous you can't ignore it, is tickle.
Tickle. That's silly.
It's very silly, and that's why it works. Your brain can't just glaze over it.
Yeah.
So take a sentence. The cloud, blank, the tree. You're not sure which one to use.
Okay.
Swap in tickle. The cloud tickled the tree.
I mean, it's a very weird image, but grammatically, it works.
Yeah.
The cloud did something to the tree.
And because tickle fits perfectly in that slot, you know the slot needs a verb, so you need affect.
Let me try one. The news, blank, her decision. So, the news tickled her decision. Bizarre, but it's structurally sound, so effect.
Right, now compare that. Try to jam tickle into a noun spot. The news had a big tickle on her decision.
No, it crashes. It sounds completely broken.
It sounds broken because you're trying to force a verb where a noun belongs. So the tickle test fails, which tells you that you need the noun. You need effect.
That's actually genius. It just uses your gut for what sounds right.
Exactly. And for the noun side, there's an even simpler trigger. Look for an article, the, or an adjective like big, nasty, unexpected, and effect. A terrible effect. You'd never say the terrible swim in the same way. The is pointing at a thing. So it has to be effect.
Okay. Raven is the rule. The tickle test checks the verb. The test checks the noun. I feel like I'm at 90% mastery now.
You are. You could honestly stop right now and you'd be right almost every single time.
There's that 10%. You mentioned the obnoxious exceptions.
I did.
This is where it all falls apart.
That is where English just decides to be difficult for the sake of it.
Yeah.
There are very specific, very formal situations where effect becomes a verb and effect becomes a noun.
Oh, come on. Wow.
I think it's mostly specialized jargon. Let's start with the one you might actually see in the wild. Effect with an E as a verb. Let's call it the bureaucrat's verb.
The bureaucrat's verb. I'm already intimidated.
It's because you see it in formal settings, business, law, politics. As a verb, effect means to bring about or to implement, to make something exist.
Wait, hold on. How is that different from affect, which means to influence?
It's about power. To affect change is to influence it, to nudge it along. But to affect change with an E means you created it from nothing.
Oh. So if a CEO says, we need to affect a new policy, she's not saying she wants to influence the policy. She wants to bring it into being.
Precisely. It's an act of creation. It's very authoritative. The committee will affect a solution. They will produce the solution.
It sounds heavier, more final.
It is. And honestly, most of the time you could just say create or implement. But you need to be able to recognize it so you don't try to correct your boss's email.
Good tip. Don't correct the boss on the bureaucrat's verb. Got it. Okay, what's the other one? Affect with an A as a noun.
This one is super rare. We're calling this the psychologist's noun.
Okay, so this is for medical charts.
Almost exclusively. In psychology, affect, and it's often pronounced with the stress on the first syllable, AFF-ect, is the observable emotional response of a person. Their facial expression, their demeanor.
Give me an example.
Think of a great poker player. They have a flat affect.
Meaning their face shows nothing.
Exactly. A doctor might write, the patient displayed a flat affect, meaning they weren't smiling or frowning. Their internal mood could be a hurricane, but their external affect was blank.
That's a really useful word, actually. Mood is what you feel. Affect is what you show.
It is. But for 99.9% of us, it's just trivia.
Yeah.
One source literally said, unless you are a psychologist, you can pretend this word doesn't exist.
I am very happy to pretend it doesn't exist. So for my daily life, just stick to Raven.
Stick to Raven. Affect is the action. Effect is the end result.
Okay, let's do a quick test, a rapid fire round. You throw a scenario at me.
I like it. Let's go with smoking.
Smoking.
It
Okay.
could be the verb. Smoking. Blank. Your lungs.
Okay, smoking is the actor. It's doing the damage. It's tickling my lungs in a very bad way. So that's the action. Affect. Smoking affects your lungs.
Perfect. Now the noun. Smoking has a negative. Blank on your lungs.
Has a negative. Okay, I see. Has. So that's the have rule. And negative is an adjective. It's a thing. The result. Effect. Smoking has a negative effect on your lungs.
You're killing it. Let's do an emotional one. A tragic event, like a death in the family.
Okay.
The verb. The loss. Blank. Him deeply.
The loss hit him. It changed him. The arrow. So affect. The loss affected him deeply.
And the noun. The loss had a profound blank.
Yeah.
On his life.
Well, had a profound, there's had, again, it's the end result of the loss. It's got to be effect. The loss had a profound effect on his life.
See? It's not a coin toss anymore. You have a system. You're actually thinking about the structure.
I really am. It feels less like memorizing a grammar rule and more like solving a little puzzle.
That's all it is. It's just pattern recognition.
So, okay, we've solved it, but I want to zoom out for a second. We just spent all this time on two letters, A and E. In the grand scheme of things, does this really matter?
That is the big question, isn't it? In an age of AI and autocorrect, who cares?
Right. I mean, Grammarly would have fixed my email. ChatGPT would have written it for me. Why do I need to clog up my brain with Raven?
Well, there was a great point in one of the videos about this. They argued that good grammar isn't just about rules. It affects your credibility.
Huh. Nice one.
Couldn't resist. But it's true. When someone misuses these words, it's like a tiny speed bump for the reader. They pause. It pulls them out of your message, and it signals, maybe unfairly, a lack of attention to detail.
It's like having a coffee stain on your shirt in a big meeting. It doesn't change what you're saying, but it can change how people hear you.
Exactly. And there's a deeper level, too. The words we choose shape how we think. If we let a machine pick all our words, do we lose some precision in our own thoughts? Knowing the difference between influencing something and creating something that forces you to be clearer about what you actually mean.
That is a very provocative thought, that if we outsource the mechanics of our language, we might start to outsource the nuance of our thinking.
We might. So maybe think of Raven not just as a rule to avoid looking bad, but as a tool to keep your own mind sharp.
I like that. I am officially going to affect change in my own inbox.
Ooh, using the bureaucrat's verb. Look at you.
I had to. Thank you for this. I honestly feel like a huge weight has been lifted.
Go write that email.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Hopefully it has a positive effect on your week. See you next time.